All right.
Okay, we are now recording the February 12th, 2021 Small Business Accounting Advisors. Hello, everyone.
Happy
Happy
Friday.
Friday.
Happy Friday, everybody. So Dennis has snow happening in his area. I have
Supposedly.
snow happening in mine, but I decided to use a different background. Sarah, you're just in a glass of
Cold.
champagne.
Sarah, you just said
I
you were
should,
cold.
I know, it's like 45, 6 degrees.
How do I get this? I only see outside. We have flowers blooming out here. This is Southern California,
Gosh, I
the
wish.
drought capital of the world.
So the high on Sunday is -10.
Okay,
Oh, she's having a heat
that's
wave.
all right.
in
You can do
Minnesota.
-10, but I'm freezing at 46.
I built a snowman this morning.
You
Ernest
built
built
a
a snowman.
snowman? Oh, man.
I did wear my coat today, but I didn't zip it.
Okay.
It's 8 below. It was 8 below was the, no, it was, I think it was 12 below when I left.
It's got to be 20 below before you'll zip, right?
So I
Usually,
have one
yeah.
of those skiing jackets that's heated. That's what I wear.
That's what?
A heated jacket.
Heated.
I was
How do
Yeah.
heated.
Heated how? You got an extension cord
With a
out your
battery.
fanny?
With a
hanging out
battery.
your
There's a
coat?
little button that I push on my shoulder, and it has a battery pack and little things that heat up the coat inside.
Oh,
I didn't even know they existed.
me
And
either.
as soon as I found out, I am in.
Oh,
How
man.
long's the charge
Well,
last?
if they can put lights in a sweater, they can heat a coat.
Yeah. Well,
Absolutely.
heating
Well,
elements
I
take a lot of
haven't run
power.
out. I'm gonna say it's gonna be somewhere between 8 and 10 hours that it'll last.
Really?
Wow, that's
That'd be
longer than I
great.
thought it would be.
Football game. Wouldn't that be great at a game?
Oh, that'd be really good at a
Remember
game.
those? Remember those?
Yep.
When we got to go to games?
Oh, that was a long time ago, before COVID.
I don't remember.
We have a special guest today, which is
We
even more important because there's a new software out. And
So Brianna, would you like to tell us who you are, what you do, who you do it for?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Brianna and I work for Coral Tree Tech, and we are the founders and makers of QBox. And we have recently launched CoraCloud, which I'll be talking about today. I just recently started about a month ago with Coral Tree. My background is in sales and logistics. I just graduated from college last year, so I'm young. And then I worked in logistics for sales. And then I came over to Coral Tree because I actually moved states, and that's where I'm at now.
Well,
Great.
welcome. We're glad to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
So would you like to share your screen and show us what it's all about?
Yes, of course. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So as Linda had said, many of you already use QBox. So a lot of what we're doing here will look very similar to QBox. And the main things that we're trying to solve right now is that many accountants, when they go to send a document to the client, they have one that is for the PDF so that they fill everything out on the PDF document filer, whatever they're using for that. And then they send it to another software to do the e-signature. And then they send it to an email or a Dropbox or OneDrive or whatever they're using. And then they send it there. So now you have 3 different softwares that you're using just to get a single job done. So what we're trying to do here is 1, organize the client. And then number 2, make sure that it's secure. And then number 3, make sure that it's easy to use for both you and your client.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And during this time, I am going to have this screen side, which is Brianna's tax service, which will be the accountant or bookkeeper side. Now, I'll be periodically dragging in the client side, which my client that I'll be showing you is XYZ Consulting. And here you'll see anything that the client will see. So now I'm going to go back here. And on the left-hand side, I have all of my clients. And it's super easy to add a new client. I'll go to admin. But before that, I wanted to touch on something a little important here. So in order to ensure that our platform was secure, we ran pen testing on this. So what that means is that we hired ethical hackers to run penetration testing. And what that means is that they go in and basically try to penetrate the software. It's exactly what it sounds like. They try to look for any loopholes, any security risk, anything. So once we ran that, one of the things that came out of that was this MFA. What multi-factored authentication is if you've ever used a banking app like Huntington, for instance, and it sends you a code to your phone or your email, that code is MFA. And with the MFA built in, we also have the same bank level security that we have with QBox as well, because the same server that we run on and store everything is the same one that these high level banks run their systems off of as well. And then in addition to that, we also have end-to-end encryption in our software with CoraCloud. So you have that peace of mind that this is safe to use for you and your clients. And I'll touch more on that as I go through and show you a little bit more about little security functions that we put in and sprinkled throughout CoraCloud. So now I'm going to add my client. So I click add client, and I am just going to use Gina because I don't think I've had her here or a Gina demo yet. Let's see. And by the way, this is a cool little trick that I learned when I started a job in tech is for email marketing. This is email brand at Coral Tree Tech. If I put that plus sign in front of it, it tricks the software to send that email to my phone. So that's what a lot of like email marketers will do. And that's just a cool little trick that I learned.
Wow, that is
Aha,
cool.
anything after the plus, it just sends it to your phone.
Yes, that's correct. So now I'll add my client. And now you see at the very bottom, I have my client Gina created, the email, as well as the date that this client was joined. Now, while I was creating that account, I got an email that my CoraCloud account was created, and I have an email that notified me of that. So so once your client receives that email, they have access to set up their password. So now, as soon as that email is sent and my client is created, a couple of other things go into motion. An internal and an external folder are created, and they're exactly what they sound like. An external folder is anything that I want my client to see or that I'm wanting to share with my client. And anything internally is anything that I'm sharing with my team members, or if I'm just not quite ready for my client to see it, I can store it in that internal folder and then move it to that external folder for them to be able to see it and to have. And now in the external and internal folder, we also have the current year. You also have the capability to add in your own folders. And right now we're working on adding the functionality where if you have a template for the folders, let's say you use the same 10 folders for every client, we're actually going to make it customizable to your own business to where you can input those 10 folders and it automatically will create those all for every single client that you put in. That way it saves you time. So now I'm going to go back up into my client XYZ Consulting, and I'm going to go into the external folder and I'm just going to demonstrate how I would collaborate with my client. So now here I have my 2021 folder, and I created this folder called bank statements within here. Let's say I needed to collaborate with a client on a Word document, a PDF, a PowerPoint, or an Excel file. I can upload that document in here. So I'm going to upload that file and drag and drop that Word file. Now this category thing is an optional organizational piece that we've added within CoraCloud. So let's say that you had a bunch of W-2s, and these will also be customizable to your business as well. So let's say you had a bunch of W-2s, you can tag that document as a W-2 form, upload that file, and let's say you have 20 to 30 files, you can organize by those categories. So all your W-2s would be first, bank statements, so on and so forth. So here, I'm going to click into the document. And just like QBox, it's going to ask me would I like to lock the file. Now, as soon as I lock that file, my client will not be able to make any edits, and same with the internal users. So now I'm going to click yes, because I'm going to do some work in here. And now it's going to let me know that the file has been locked. Now, the really great thing about CoraCloud, and the difference between this and per se like a Google Drive or a Google Doc, is that Google's main business model is to make money off the data. So what they do is they offer a free platform where you can email, send documents and import that and collaborate with others. But that's not what they're looking to do. What they're looking to do is capture all that data that you're looking up, that you put into your email, that you put into that drive to serve you better. Because Google makes their money off of their ads, and that's their business model. So basically, you and your clients are their product. Whereas the difference with here, our main business model is to provide really good service and products. We're very, very proud of QBox and what it does. And I've only been here for a month, and I am so happy to hear the stories about how QBox has changed, lives with QBox. I mean, it sounds crazy, but it's just something that has really helped these people. And that was one of the main things that I looked for in a job, was being able to help people. So now let's say that I needed to collaborate with my client. I'm just going to write, hi, Gina. And obviously what you guys are doing is way more complex than what this is, but this is just a simple demonstration. So now I'm going to save and close that file. Now, if I go to the client side, they will also have access to that document. So I'll go into bank statements, and they'll have that document right there. So they'll click into the document. It will ask them would they like to lock the file as well. They would say yes. And now they can edit and add anything as well. So I'm just going to do hi back and save and close that file as well. So now the really great thing about this is that as soon as my client has that document, I don't have to go looking for it anymore. Like I don't have to go searching through, is it in Dropbox? Is it in my email? Is it in OneDrive? Is it in my tax software? All of that documentation is right there for my client to see. So now I'm going to go back to the accountant side, and they will be able to see when the client modified it. So just like QBox, we offer the same history function. So now I can see when I modified it, and then I can also see when it was modified by the client. Now let's say that the client makes a mistake and I need to roll back. We also have that functionality in here. So let's say I need to go back to my version. I can roll back, and just like QBox, it's going to ask me, am I sure? And I'm going to type yes and continue. So now you'll see that I have 4 versions, and we keep up to 20 versions of that file. So you have peace of mind, and this is basically an internal backup. So you have a backup to all your files, and let's say a computer crashes and you need to get on a separate computer that has internet access and a web browser, you have that peace of mind that your files are still be there, even if anything happens to your computer. So now I'm going to exit out of here. And let's say I had an initial agreement with my client where I needed them to sign it. I'm going to upload a PDF and drag and drop this and upload that file. So now I can prepare this document for signature. So I'm going to right click and press e-signature, and I'm going to type in my client's email. Now, let's say you had a husband and wife as well that needed to sign their tax returns or anything. You can input both of their emails, and you can even enforce the signature order. That way it goes to one person before the other, or you can just leave it off and it will go as is to all emails. It's going to prepare the document. Now, as soon as I prepare that document, it offers a signature block, a signature, initial, text box or checkbox. So if you need your client's banking information, they can input a text box and then type that information there. So now I'm going to drag and drop my signature block, and I'm going to assign this document to my client. Now you'll notice that only that email that I put in is even able to be assigned to that document. So this is an extra level of security that we put into place where you have peace of mind that it's only going to your client because you control that. So now I press assign. It's going to put in their name and email, and then I just click save and send. Now, as soon as I save and send that document, it's going to change the name of the document to _SigPen for signature pending. So if I go to my client side, I'll have that document in there as well. Let's do a quick refresh. And now the client is going to get an email notification that there's a document waiting to be signed, and they can sign it right from their email and it will just pop up CoraCloud for them. Or what we recommend is having them log into the portal, and then they can click on this, click the signature, and we offer 4 different options. So they could text and it would create a cursive of their name. They could do a John Hancock, beautiful signature. They could upload an image, or if they had saved signatures, they could implement one of those as well. So let's just save that, and I'm going to save that file. Now, as soon as my client saves that file, they have that file for as long as I give them access to it. So let's say that 3 months later, your client comes to you and is like, hey, Gina, I really need that document that happened, 6 months ago. And if your inbox is anything like mine after, an hour or two, that's a lot of man hours hunting down a document. So this not only keeps the accountant organized, but it also keeps the client organized, because a lot of the issues that we see in these demos is that the accountant's basically responsible for holding all clients' documents organized as well. So here we offer that organization for you and your client. So now I go back to the accountant side. I have an audit trail as well. And what the audit trail gives me is anything that happened to that document, I am able to see that. So let's say you have a client that was like, oh, well, I didn't get that document. Well, you can see that and that they lied. You can see when they viewed it. You can see when they signed it. So if you ever have one of those clients that, or if you have a team member and you can want to see when they modified something, you have all that documentation right here, as well as the date and time, the email, even the IP address. So you have all of their data of when the client signed it, when they viewed it, as well as when you prepared and sent the document for e-signature. All right, and that was CoraCloud in a nutshell. Before I get into pricing, I'm going to open it up for questions.
I have one question.
All right, Linda.
You're going back and forth between the client and your tax service. Well, how are you doing that? That's what I'm missing.
So I have 2 different screens and I'm logged into 2 different accounts. So in order to do that, I actually am using 2 different window browsers. So I have Mozilla Firefox here, and then here I'm using Chrome or Microsoft Edge.
Okay, so they're like one on top of the other, and you're going back and forth between the 2.
Yes, so this
Okay.
the screen that you're seeing all of this on is actually my monitor. I have a second screen. That's why when I turn like this, you get the side of my face because my laptop's here.
Okay, do we have any CoraCloud
I
questions?
have a question.
Okay.
Just how exactly does CoraCloud integrate with QBox, or does it?
So CoraCloud and QBox are 2 completely separate products.
Okay.
They solve 2 different issues. So with QBox, the main problem that we solved was being able to share your files remotely, your QuickBooks desktop files. So it had that specific purpose in mind for QuickBooks desktop files. Whereas CoraCloud is more of an overall file collaboration just not within QuickBooks or specific software. It's more also solving the problem of security. You don't want your clients to be uploading their document, their sensitive information into email. It's not secure in any shape or form. So they offer two different solutions to two completely different problems.
Okay, so if you had a QuickBooks file, there'd be a PDF, it wouldn't be a regular QuickBooks file, right?
So if you had a PDF file of a document, you could upload it in. I'm not sure if it was a QuickBooks file, if it would work or not. I do not think so, just because they're two separate products. So I'm
Okay.
just going to say that it wouldn't work for that.
Okay.
But you can upload Excel files as well as CSV files.
Okay.
Right. So we can do the same in QBox, right? We can, in QBox, you can have folders and put in Excel and Word documents and all and share that way. It's syncing those documents. This is like those folders, but specifically for folders like that. It would be nice to have the product rolled together one day. That would be nice. Because I was just thinking about while you were talking, I thought, oh, okay, I'm going to have an icon to go to, you know, QBox, and then I'm gonna have another icon to go to CoraCloud.
So with CoraCloud, it does not run off the local desktop. So you're not putting anything on your computer.
That's the difference. That's the difference.
Yep.
There is no local copy sync down.
No.
That's right.
So-
Okay, it's like Dropbox, but only in the cloud and not
Right.
C drive. That's right. I forgot about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Of course, like, you could put a link. You could put a short
And
thing
what-
on your desktop, but
And then where the backup comes in, because QBox has the local drive, where the backup comes in with CoraCloud is that history function. So you have
Mhm.
all your documents there. So you basically have an internal backup that we've created within the cloud.
Yeah.
So can you show us the portal again? I think there's two different ways to interface. One is online and one you said with the portal.
So this is the portal. It's all online.
online is the portal. Yeah.
Yes. They're the same thing. I just used two words. Sorry about that.
So I've really enjoyed seeing how it works for the e-signature, because I just started using Adobe DC or whatever I have. And I like yours better. And the other thing is when I use the Adobe, you know, I have to, you know, get a Word document, and then I have to convert it to a PDF, and then I add the signature blocks, and then I email it to the client, and then they sign it, then I get it back, and then I have to now save it somewhere. But this is just going to be a one-stop shop. You just add my, you know, so that led me to another question. All right, so I'll have a team, a paid version, but my clients, they're also seeing. So can a client add an e-signature or just my side?
So right now the functionality lies within the accountant side. So they would be the one to do the e-signature. And the reason why we do that is because you don't want clients messing up your document.
True.
Or they also cannot delete or rename folders. So, you know, you have peace of mind that, like, if you have a structure, your client can go in, because there's always that one person that will mess something up. So that the security is our biggest concern. If we can implement, so if there's any feature requests, we're working on developing this out more. So if you have any questions or concerns, we can definitely work those out. I can tell you that on the pipeline, we are integrating an app. So within the next 6 months, the client will be able to just take a photo of the document and be secure.
Can't wait.
And it will be secure and be easier to use than you know, other platforms that use an app that's not as secure. So that's what we're working on. We're also working on templates. So let's say that you have the same agreement for every single client. You would be able to upload that document in and then just pick that document and send it to your client.
Multiple times. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what the use case is that I was thinking about with the signature and why I asked. My nonprofits, Whenever we do a bank rec or financial statements or something like that, one of the controls is to put multiple signatures on it.
Mhm.
So,
Ah,
so I was
two.
thinking, I thought, okay, I could get a CoraCloud folder for a client. And then when I do the financials, I'll present them to the board or whatever. And then when we approve and all that, then I add the signatures to them or, whatever. And I can take care of that from my side. For the bank rec side, they're usually doing that in-house. And the bookkeeper and the executive director have to sign them. So really all I have to do as part of my procedures is when the bank recs are done, I can add the signatures on my side just to finish out the workflow.
Yeah.
But that's what I was thinking there, because the signature thing, it was easy before COVID because you just passed it around. And now we're having meetings on the Zooms and all. It's like, how do I get all these signatures? So the only other thing I was going to ask or actually point out is part of this sharing files with, especially during COVID in these nonprofits, is I'll get that one person, she doesn't have Word and Excel at home.
Mm-hmm.
This, it opens up, and I think it's using Zoho maybe?
Yeah, so Zoho Creator is used, but it's within our own system. So you still have the security.
Right. So you're not going outside to get another spreadsheet reading program. So like with Google, they actually have improved it a bit. You used to have to convert it to a Google Sheet in order to use it. You can keep it as an Excel, but then you need Excel. So this is nice because I don't have to worry that, it's not going to, do crazy Excel stuff, but you usually don't need all those features. You need your basic Word document features and your basic spreadsheet. That's just perfect. Or if you're on the road, and like I'm here, I'm at Grandpa's house. I don't know what's on this computer.
Yeah, of course. So now just to touch on that a little bit more. So within this file, let's say I need to work on them. You're right. It's not going to have the full functionality of like an Excel or something, but it gets the job done for those clients who don't have those products or don't have the money to spend on those expensive Microsoft Suite products. So here, they have basic.
Oh, yeah. What else do you need?
Yeah, exactly. So they can implement all of that themselves, and basically they could change the font, which I don't know if you have a client that does that or something. They can, they can do basic functionality that will get the job done. And if you have anything that you need to do on your end, you probably have Excel where you can just upload that document back in, and then they can work from the latest file that you've created.
Right. So
Brianna-
sometimes Excel might be just collecting information. They just need to add something to a spreadsheet. It works beautifully.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was wondering, Brianna, so we couldn't send an engagement letter to them, have them sign it and upload it back? Actually, they wouldn't upload it back. They'd be signing it online.
Yeah, they don't need to. They don't need to upload anything because you're just sending it to them.
It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go anywhere. It's all in the same spot.
I got that, but they can't sign it saying, yes, I agree to that.
They sign it and it's signed. It's a signed document. Both of them
Okay.
have that at that point.
Okay, good. All
If you
right.
want to print it out, you can, but you
Got
don't
it.
need to.
You don't have to because you got it.
And it's backed up.
And
It
there's a
seems to
download
me-
feature.
How many e-signatures are like included? Or is there an extra charge for that?
So that's the difference between us and other softwares. Right now, during the kind of early adopter period, we have a really good pricing structure. So right now it's for the $20 a month per user or $200 a year for the annual. You get the unlimited e-signatures, the unlimited storage, and the unlimited clients. So
Good.
I know that Lynn's been with QBox for a while. So, she's locked into that pricing that she's had forever. And so we're honoring the same kind of system with CoraCloud because we value the feedback that you guys give, during this time because we recognize that this is a great product that's well needed, but there are little features that we need to add, and we recognize that it's not perfect. So for the early adopters, we want to offer something.
Nice. So let me
Got it.
clarify, users, that would be people in your organization, not the clients, or does user include the clients?
So the user does not include the client. So let's say that Gina and I were team members, then it would be $20 a month for each of us or $400 for the year. And anytime you add a client, you are not getting charged for that additional folder.
So you can have
Phenomenal.
as many folders as you need?
That is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's really
Amazing
great.
pricing. That's amazing pricing.
I need to go back and see what I'm paying for share file.
Yeah, I'm thinking I can get rid of both Smart Vault and ShareFile.
Yeah, so there isn't any fetching or pushing yet, but you know, it can start eliminating all these, you know, what the term is chunkification. We've chunkified all these apps to get our workflow to work. And it's like, there's another one I can get rid of because the e-signature was great. And then not having to pay per client is great. So yeah, I love having a new option. And you know what, for the ones of us who use QBox,
It'll be easy.
it's a natural fit. It's like, oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah, and another great thing is we offer our support 24/7. So if you and your clients have any questions, just send them our way. You can even talk to me or Jimmy, and we'll be able to answer any questions. So we're really trying to simplify and be that all-in-one solution where we can just be that one-stop shop and just kind of blow the competition out of the water.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, and all those extra little features will come.
Oh.
I don't worry about startups that are just like going 1,000 miles an hour trying to throw all these features in there. You need to add a feature, make sure it's rock solid, So
That's the one thing about QBox that I always liked was the rock solid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much for that.
Yeah, it really is. And you've always been able to get somebody there if you need to talk to them or something. So, yeah, I don't hesitate. It's the one app I don't hesitate to
recommend.
yeah, for everybody that it's good for, so.
Well, I've got a lot of clients that have no offsite plan. And in COVID, they're still dialing into their machines or driving over and trying not to breathe on one another. And they automatically gravitate to the ones they hear about, which is Dropbox or Google or whatever. But when we talk about financial information, I'd love to be able to part of my offering to say, here, let me also solve that for you.
Right.
The really great thing about being an early adopter with our product is that once we full blow go out to market, we are going to change our pricing.
Sure.
But our goal always, even with QBox to this day, is to be affordable for everyone. QBox is relatively affordable, and I imagine that—
I was going to say, I guess it is.
It really is. It's a joy to work with.
Yeah, I have clients that say, that haven't used it really, but you know what? It's actually an excellent backup program.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And the fact that you can roll back, let's say you're here at the computer and the front door, it turns out your kids got here an hour early and you got grandkids and you didn't shut your computer off, and the grandkid comes in and they're all over the place, and so they totally screw up what you did. Not a problem. We'll just go roll it back, Yeah. So that's really, really nice. And that's one of the things I tell all the people that I work with too, that like if something like that happens, you just give me a call. I'll roll it back and you'll be fine. Yeah. So
just having the offsite backup Even if that's all they used it for, it's perfect. Even
It's, the price is right for that,
if- This
really.
is great for that. I mean, even if they're not sharing their file with anybody, they can share it with QBox and then have that, you said that rollback, so.
Yeah, and they could
Even if
actually
they
use it
don't
on
have-
a desktop and a laptop wherever they go. So,
Right, right.
yeah. So anyway, well,
We
thank you.
really fell in love with it when, through all the hurricane evacuations. Because in the
Oh,
old
yeah.
days, we would physically grab our PCs and put them in the trunk and figure out what paper to take and everything, and we'd run. And so now we just have the QBox on each laptop. It's like, see ya. So
So, well, thank you so much, Brianna.
thanks for coming.
Thank you, Brianna. Anybody have any other questions that we want to talk about with Brianna?
Ernest, do you have any? Oh, there he is.
Not a question at all.
All right.
It's
Okay.
so straightforward that, and that's, I love the
Simple,
simplicity of
sweet,
it.
and it just works. We like
Yeah,
that.
it does. It works. Thank you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I'll give you, Linda and the rest of you time to discuss, and anyone that wants to sign up for the 30-day free trial, just, feel free to email me. Linda has my email.
Right.
And I'm also, I mean, you guys even have me on Facebook now since I'm in the group, so.
Yes,
If you have any
Awesome.
we
questions,
do.
And the company name's Coral Tree
Tech.
Tech, Coral Tree
Coral Tree Tech.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's in the email too. But yes, now we're friends with you on Facebook.
And do you
that,
know
so.
what? I found out, I think your little chat that you've had in like QBox, didn't you name her Cora?
I
Is
have
the
no
chat,
idea.
is the chat in, or the bot or something that's in
Maybe it is.
QBox is Cora?
We'll have to look.
I'm looking right now.
I'm thinking,
There she goes.
now she's got her own place.
Yeah. I told my boss that I may be getting a dog, and he's like, "Oh, you should name it Cora," and I'm like, "No."
Oh.
Brandon, he's not here, but he
He
had
could
a
be the
kid one
mascot.
time. He named it QB, I think. Remember we were voting on the kittens' names?
Cora the Porgy. Okay.
All right,
Uh,
It's
great.
nice meeting you.
And feel free to
Thank you
come back
very much,
anytime you
Jen.
want
We're
fun
gonna
on a Friday afternoon.
We're going
Okay.
to end the recording now, but stay with us.
Okay,
Yes.
So we will see everyone same time, same place next week.
have a nice
Hey,
weekend.
happy Friday weekend.